Hey, it's Jack from Alphacharts with a state of the market video. Today is August 9th, 2025. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, thank you all for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter or X, please tweet and retweet the video out just to get me a little more coverage. I appreciate that if you can do that for me. Also, if you're on X, I do have the subscription. It's $10 a month, super cheap. You get a ton of information every single week, keeping you in the best names. There's a bifurcated market right now, and there are winners and there's gonna be losers in this market. And luckily, me and subscribers have been on the right side of the market for a little bit now, and it's been a good market for us. So you can read everything that we give you here. Click the link. It says $10 a month. There are no contracts month to month. Super easy to get in and out of if you choose to. Just click that subscribe button. All right. On the YouTube side. We have the same thing. There's a membership there. Same videos, same exact content as the videos go. You can see here, there's just, focusless videos and all the midweek videos, weekend videos, you can see the timestamps there and everything else. I post setups here for members there. So if you're in YouTube, click that YouTube only watcher, click that join button, and you're in as well. All right, let's get into these charts. Um, Dow Jones Industrial Average, building out the right side of the shoulder. Again, these take time, so I expect maybe a little bit more chop, and then maybe a break of the trend line, and then a come back around, right? And I think that the break of the trend line is the signal potentially of the comeback around. So that's what I'm watching for. 50 days holding like a champ. There's really nothing bearish about this chart. It looks like a very nice big base. If things fall off a cliff here, that'd be a different story, but they're not. They look good. SPY, by the way, on the weekly, let's just see what the weekly was. Weekly, Dow Jones was up 1.4. SPY was up 2.48. That's a good week. Like that's a solid week up 2.48. It started out with a gap down, right? And then it went up from there. So I think that's where that 2.48 comes from. You see though, compared to where we ended last week, it wasn't all up that much, but on the week though, because of the gap, it was up 2.48 percent. But again, above all of its moving averages, right near all-time highs, probably closing all-time highs actually. Sorry, kind of hiccups now. Yeah, it looks like a closing all-time high right there for the SPY. So that looks pretty good. There's your RSP. Let's switch back to my other candles, my hollow candles better. RSP, and RSP not as good, right? So that was down, actually it was up on the week, 0.85. But again, that gap down makes it a little deceptive right there. But it was but it was up 0.85 on the week. But below all of its moving averages, above the 50-day, what does that tell me? That tells me that we have winners and we have losers in this market, right? And the bigger the name, probably the winners. We'll look at mags and that'll give us a good feel for that. But so not everything's working. And I think as you go down the cap scale, it's harder to find things working, right? The larger cap, mega caps, they're working really, really well. And here's Qs. So the Qs closed at all-time highs on every metric. Like that's as bullish as it goes. I really thought we may get one more little tag of the 50-day. It's so strong, it never did that. It doesn't mean it's still not going to. It's a little bit extended, but right now it just didn't do that. So this low becomes extremely important right now. On the week, it was up, 3.73%. So you see the SPY was up 2.48. The Qs 3.73. Again, concentration in the mega caps. And again, when we go and look at Deep View has a pretty cool feature, and you can click on there and see the percentage holdings. You see it's Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, right? Then Netflix, Tesla, Google. right? That's like huge concentration in the mega caps. And when we go back here, you can see there's a good reason. It went up almost 1% on Friday and 3.5% on the week. Okay, very strong. Again, is it a little bit extended? Sure. Can it wobble a little bit here? Sure. But very healthy price action. Now, looking at the equal weighted Qs, it was only a 0.85. So there's your divergence, right? 3.73, only up 0.85. Again, there is where the concentration goes in the mega caps. Um, you know, looking over here, it did close, is it below, right at the 50-day. Right now, this general level and the 50-day seem to be holding. I'm not too concerned about this yet, as long as we stay above, this low right there. That low is 96.10. As long as we're above 96.10, I'm not too worried about the Qs. Equal weighted looks looks okay. Looks okay. Not great, just okay. Mid caps, again, it's going to show that was up on the week, right? 0.72. IWM was up 2.51. So let's look at the difference there. Um, Holding at the 50-day as well, very similar to equated Qs, but it has not fallen apart, at least not yet. Um, Again, shows the bifurcation in this market. And IWM, um, because the gap down was so severe, it looks like it had a better week and did come back quite a bit, and it's above the 50-day. But for me, that's just an avoid, right? It's really choppy, gap down, hasn't made a new high yet. Where the SPY and more importantly the Qs have, and that's where the concentration I think needs to be if you're trading stocks. Looking at the sectors, you have XLF, again, had a big gap down. Having a hard time getting some traction here. We'll see. Maybe it tags the 200-day. Again, that talks about, again, the bifurcation. It was up 0.85 on the week, but again, that gap makes things a little skewed. Whereas you have the semiconductors up 3.37. And there we go. So there's a sector you could say is not only really positive that it's up on the market as an indicator, right? So sometimes we can use areas of the market as indicators, which is what I do here. And I think semiconductors is probably the most important one. So it's basically right at all-time highs, just below it. But it also had an amazing week. That I think is a very strong predictor of future goodness in the market. And I think that we should be looking at semiconductors as tradable assets, whether you do the ETF or individual names. But now, are they all the same? Well, let's look at the XSD, the equal weighted. And it was up, okay, 1% yesterday, and on the week, up 3%. So yeah, all semiconductors are being bought. Maybe a little concentration in the mega caps, but they're all being bought. And you can see how this is a pretty important area right there. Maybe you could draw a little trend line right here, similar to the Dow, I think. When it comes back and breaks that and breaks this horizontal area, I really think semiconductors are off to the races. So again, all looks really good in semiconductor land. Transports don't look quite as good, right? They were up barely on the week, 2% on the week. Again, big gap down though after a pretty big move. Is this a bear flag? It could be. Maybe they go lower. Again, bifurcated market, and I don't love that transports potentially are sitting on they are sitting on their 200-day moving average, and if they start to go lower again, that would make me a little more. I would maybe it'd be a worrisome signal if it goes, if it does break that low right there. That's 66.32 or so, 66.30 low. Equal weighted transports. Um, Very similar look to it, below the 200-day, below the 50-day. Again, I don't love that. Don't love that. But what does look good is housing, right? We haven't said this in a long time. The last few weeks we've been watching it go up and we've been talking about it. But really on a weekly basis, it was up 3.74. So we're up there with semiconductors, right? And you can see this higher highs and higher lows very clearly on ITB. Very, very clearly. I think that's a huge positive for the market. So you have semiconductors and housing looking great. You have banks and transports looking a little rough. And so you have a little bit of mixed signals in there, but I'll go with semiconductors and housing right now because the indexes are holding up well also. There's your XHB, again, looking great. The Mag 7. So breaking out to all-time highs, huge day on Friday, up 5.54, and there you go. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Bifurcated market, mega caps, large caps are getting rewarded, and there's your proof. And I think that, if you're looking to buy stuff, you don't want to be a hero looking at the small caps, going down the cap scale. We'll just leave it like that. But yeah, closing at all-time highs, trending higher, looking great. I think they are part of the AI leadership, right? Most of those mega caps. And they'll continue to be most likely. And so if AI is doing good, technology is doing good, we probably will see this chart going up and to the right. So excellent job, Megs and Bitcoin. Bitcoin. I'm back in Bitcoin. I'm back in IBIT versus this trend line. And I thought it was going to break out, so then it kind of came back in. But overall, I think it still looks good. And so this is like a note if you want to become a subscriber. This is how I talk about risk. This is how I talk about the trades I'm making, and that's what I share with everybody. Um, you know, and sometimes I'll give targets, sometimes I'll just say trail stops, but yeah, if it breaks out from here, I think IBIT could be not only risk on indicator, but a tradable asset if you don't want to be in Bitcoin itself. If not, you just buy Bitcoin, right? But yeah, so this looks really good if it can break out. It looks poised to. Um, let's go. Let's start moving. But it looks poised to break out. We'll see by the end of the weekend, right? Because it never sleeps. All right. So overall, I think things look really good, especially up on the Qs, the mega caps, the semiconductors, the risk on names are doing really good up the cap scale. So yeah, yes, there will be some pullbacks. There's going to be some wiggles and waggles and days that make you think that you made the wrong decision. But overall, things are looking really, really good. Okay. Good luck with everything you haven't done. So check it out. My subscription group is super cheap at $10 a month, and you get a ton of information. We go to internals, we do midweek videos, market notes, all kinds of stuff. So check that out. You guys take care. Thanks. Bye bye.